This episode is sponsored by Visual Media. Are you an entrepreneur or a small business looking to take your brand to the next level? Then Visual Media is the service for you. Visual Media is a video production company who specializes in creating high quality visual content for social media, websites, and online courses. Head over to Visual Media on Instagram and drop Resilience in their DM to get started. That's VZUALMEDIA _ to get started. What's up, everyone? This is Resilience in Action with Erin Brown, the number one podcast for anyone looking to have a greater human experience. What's going on, everyone? It's another episode of Resilience in Action with Erin Brown, and today our very special guest is Kellina Powell. Kellina, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here, honestly.
Love it, love it, love it. So you sent me your bio last night. I read over it, love it. I'm not going to butcher it. I'm going to let you tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, definitely. Hello, everybody. Oh my God. Honestly, I'm too many hats, to be honest with you. Like, I'm an author, I'm an international speaker, I'm a life coach, and a content creator, and I'm an advocate on top of that. So you're like, what? But here's a very interesting about me is I'm actually deaf. I actually became deaf at the age of 4 due to an ear infection. And so really my life was like a roller coaster, learning about myself and also to really how to communicate with someone who is hearing, which is something that mind blowing for a lot of people to find out about me. Like, Nina, how do you do that? Like, how do you build that confidence to be able to get yourself out there like everybody else? And so, yeah, so that's really about me. Yes, I know it's a lot, but yes.
So let's start at the very beginning. So you had an ear infection when you were 4 years old, and it caused you to go deaf.
Yes.
So do you remember hearing before that?
Yeah, of course. I was like a normal kid, at daycare, and that's actually what happened with the daycare. Was actually the daycare fault. They didn't follow the instruction for the ear drop, and that's how I actually became deaf.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
How dare them? Now, granted, I feel like sometimes things happen for a reason because now you're able to navigate a whole new life, right? But that's wild. That's wild. So, we're navigating what is like to relearn a whole new language. What was that like? Did you learn sign?
No.
No.
So not until I went to the deaf school, and that was because my speech was delayed when I got the hearing aid. So I was really busy with a speech therapist
Mm-hmm.
pick up my speech again. And then I would attend to the deaf school to learn ASL for a little bit. And then I went to a home school full time. And I was not able to learn ASL in the home school because they do not offer that in the home school.
Gotcha. So you had to to basically um figure out how to live life now. How did you do that? Like start from tell us. What was it like?
Um, it was difficult. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I was actually put in 2 different schools, which helped me even more to learn that I am different.
Mm-hmm.
And for me to understand and realize that I'm gonna have to learn how to communicate by myself without teachers, my mom, my aunt, and my grandma around me. And so honestly, thankfully my family put me into a lot of extracurricular activities in terms of basketball, soccer, outside of school. So I can actually learn how to interact with kids and learn how to be independent. And that was something my family really wanted me to learn so much is be independent without having to rely on ASL because my family knows that by the time I get older, no one's gonna learn ASL. And so my family was really looking out for me for my future. And so honestly, over time I did develop a little bit confidence when I was in the activities. However, I did have a lot of, step back and I had to pull myself together, really get myself out there. And I would say when I got older, I would able to meet friends that would support me, and that was super important for me to find the right support system, especially in school. I know a lot of people are not able to find friends that they can be comfortable with and a friend that's willing to accommodate you, right? And accommodation is a big thing with someone who have a disability.
Yeah, absolutely. Having a support system in life is very, very important. But when you find yourself um, having to navigate an entirely new experience, to be able to have that support system, and then they come in and they're there to encourage you and they hold you up and they lift you up and hold you accountable and all that good stuff, that has to make a world of difference. What so you played sports, right?
Yeah,
So what was your favorite sport?
soccer, 100%.
Soccer. What is it about soccer? My sister-in-laws play soccer, and they're like all about soccer, soccer and softball, but soccer is like their thing, and it's so cool to watch them play. So what was it about soccer that really drew you in?
I would say it was a less chaotic in terms of having to always keep looking, listening so much.
Mm-hmm.
And that was how the deaf person is so hard to look everywhere. And I have to, in order for me to communicate, I have to look at you. I have to. So for soccer, it was more of a small team on the field. So my team and I can literally communicate super fast, and they were freaking out because I'm a forward. I'm always a forward. So they always be prepared for me, and they're like, "Hey, Kellina, you're fast. You need to go. Just go. We can't keep up. Just go." And I said, "Okay." And I will look back, and then it's very easy for them to do sign quickly for me. They'll be like, "Go," or they'll be like, "Stop." Or it's very easy to communicate, I would say, for me, for soccer, because you can just turn around. I can just simply turn around and be like, "Go, yes, no, what do you want me to do? Pass." It's very quick. Compared to other sports, like, it's very chaotic. Like, you have to look, the whistle, and this and that. And the game is very simple for me to follow, especially as a deaf person on the field. It's really, really easy for me to just like, okay, yeah, soccer, the kick, that's it. Okay, that's it. I don't have to do anything more.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. That's perspective is a huge thing. And I'm as I think of like the other sports, I know you said you play basketball as well. Thinking about basketball, there is, you like you said, you do have the whistle, and there's a lot more that you have to pay attention to, opposed to soccer where you're running, you're having fun, and the signals and what you need to do, they're able to let you know like that in that quickness. So were you good?
Yeah, I was good. I remember I made my team go in first place, second place, third place. I was crazy. I was supposed to go on the international soccer women thing, but then it was, I don't know what happened. I just didn't. I stopped liking it, and I think I was too good for that back then when I was like young. I was young. I was like, no, mom, I'm gonna do something else. I'm too good for the sport. I was that big, flashy girl who.
Yeah.
And actually, I got tired. Running
Yeah.
all the time. It was,
It wears you out a little bit, right?
yeah, exactly. It really does. I'm like, okay, I'm tired.
Yeah. So let's get into so you're 4, now you're in, I'm guessing, high school with like soccer and all that stuff. Can you tell me about a time where things got difficult for you, and what it was like to get through that difficult time?
Oh yeah, definitely. The difficult time is having accommodation consistent.
Mm,
That's difficult
yeah.
time. The reason why I said that is, yes, people accommodated me, but they're not consistent. So I'm like, hey guy, don't forget. Hey guy, don't forget. Like, it's like, why might I have to repeat myself if I've already mentioned and told you that I need support? And so that was something that I had to really pull myself together and be like, I have to keep going and consistently telling people, because we're not educated about the disability community and accommodation.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about it, where do we learn our knowledge from? School. When we're 4, they never taught us that stuff. They never really taught us the difference about our bodies in terms of disability. They never taught us that. So I feel like if we went back to school, if we were to teach students that, I'm pretty sure everybody would have been consistent to accommodate anybody with disability. And so that was something that I had to really pull myself together and say, you know what, Kellina, listen, you're gonna have to be annoying. At the end of the day, you need to be accommodate, because at the end of the day, if something happened to you and you don't speak up, how were they supposed to know? And that was something I had to learn the hard way until I got into university. And that was something I was like, okay, you know what? I have to do this and I have to do what I got to do to really get myself out there. And that was something that I didn't like. Because I felt like I was bugging people to accommodate me, you know? So I didn't like bugging people. And also at the same time, too, sometimes I just feel like, hey, you know what, screw this. I just want to be normal. And there's times where I just like, can I just be normal? Like, can I just be like everybody else? But there's times where I have to be real with myself and say, it is what it is. Suck it up, and you need to ask for help.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey. Did you know I wrote a book? It's called The Value Method, 5 Steps to Unlocking Your Greatest Potential. And in it, I share just that. 5 wildly easy, actionable steps that will set you up to have a greater human experience daily. I've included interactive worksheets and small assignments at the end of each chapter. You're literally creating a living blueprint of your best life. Be sure to check out the show notes for the link to purchase your copy and a copy for a friend.
I know when I tore my ACL, this was back in like 2012, to maybe 2013, something, it was a long time ago. I tore my ACL, and I've never been one to really ask for help, but I had a big old cast. I had just had surgery, and it was to a point where I had to be humbled enough to ask someone to help me go to the bathroom. So I absolutely understand what it was like to have to ask someone that, and you feel like you're being a pain, you feel like you're being a bother. But at the end of the day, you need something, and the people around you will show up for you, but you just have to consistently let them know, like, hey, like, I need you, I need help.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was terrible. I needed help up and down the stairs, in and out of the house, and it was just, I felt bad. I felt shameful, right? I felt a level of shame, and it's such a paradox, because where does that shame come from? Where did we go wrong in society where it was shameful to ask for help?
Yeah.
So oh my gosh. So you get your accommodations kind of on a semi-consistent basis without you like I need help. What school did you go to? What university?
Okay, so I'm located in Canada, Toronto, you guys. So I'm not in the States.
Gotcha. Okay, in Canada. All right, Toronto.
Yeah, I'm in Toronto. I actually went to York University.
Gotcha. And what was that experience like?
Okay, you guys, are you guys ready for some tea? Because I got something really good.
Oh, tea.
So honestly, my first year was not good. Like, you guys can be really surprised. So I had a few good professors, really accommodating. I was good to go. I have a disability counselor who does my accommodation letter, who kind of walked me through university, let me know what the accommodation around the campus. And so this one professor I have, I don't know why, But like my guy, so I actually the first day I showed him my accommodation. The very first day. That's what my disability counselor said. It's very important that you tell them now the very first day so that they're aware. So that way there's no surprises. I let my professor know that I'm deaf, and I noticed on the course outline that the test is a listening test. So I asked him, is it possible if I can have a written test instead of listening? He told me, oh, you can do it. You can do the first test. So I was just like, are you not reading what it said on the paper? And I'm showing you my hearing aid to show you that I'm hard of hearing. I can't always hear very well. Anyway, so middle of the class now, I'm passing. I only did probably one big test, and I got a 50%. So I'm just like, I could have done better, but you don't want to listen to me. And so toward the end of the course, that's when he noticed that my grade dropped. So I was like, sir, I told you that I have accommodation and you are not accommodating me. And so the final exam was also a listening test. So final exam was like 50% of our grade. So I just said, I'm not doing this exam, sir. I mentioned to you so many times. And he was very disrespectful. I had to contact my disability counselor to reach out to him to see what we can do. He completely ignored her email. Completely ignored her email. I failed the course. So I ended up, yeah, I know, he failed, rude. And so what happened was I literally took it to the next level. I was not playing. I said, you know what, screw you. I'm reporting you. And my counselor had proof of the email, everything. Cause she's like, yeah, like, are you crazy? And we reported to the head of his department. They were shocked. They were like, what? And so like, you know what? Your grade will be removed. So yay, good news, but at the same time it's bad. But it's like, why would you allow a student who need accommodation suffer going through all this headache where you could have just accommodate the student properly? You know, and especially too, I had other 4 classes that I had to focus on, but you're giving me a headache. And I was like, what the heck? And yeah, that was my first year experience in university, honestly. I had other great experience. I had amazing note takers. So for those who have a disability, we are provided with note takers or any support person. And so I actually had a note taker for mine. She was amazing. She followed me all 4 of my classes. She was amazing, terrific. And I was getting a lot of support and help from my first year. But second and third year got a little bit tricky because it gets harder as you go on to university.
Yeah.
So it gets really tricky. And I'm like, oh my God, I need help. However, I had to really navigate and learn how to, again, accommodate for myself. But it got easier as the year went on. I had to learn how to be consistent, obviously. Again, consistent, which we all hate that word, but too bad. That is the word, being consistent in university. But overall, I really did have a really good university experience. And also too, my last year of university, I actually met a deaf professor, which is mind blowing. He is amazing. I don't know how to tell you guys. Like, he was amazing. He was my math teacher. I hate math, so it was even better for me. And yeah, him and I connected really well. We spoke a lot about career-wise because I was actually, my last year didn't know what to do. And I'm like, what the heck am I supposed to do after psychology? Because I have a psychology background. So there's so many bridges that you can do with that, right?
Yeah. So what did you end up doing?
Oh gosh. So I ended up becoming a shelter home worker for young girls who are pregnant. It was pretty amazing. I love that work.
Amazing. That work in itself is so fulfilling.
Exactly. It was a very interesting experience, to be honest, because I'm not always surrounded by pregnant women. So all my friends were all young. So, but no one in my family, well, except for one friend of ours who got pregnant at 16, but none of us really got pregnant at a young age. So it was very cool to see how young girls transition into a young mom. So really kind of guide them, teach them how to be a mom. So that was a really fun experience. I love it. I love them. And then from there, I actually became a life coach. I decided to open my own business, becoming life coach for people, for young adults, who also are hard of hearing, who are deaf, and also other disabilities as well, not just the deaf community. And then I ended up writing a book about me being deaf. But yeah, we'll get to that after, but I don't want to take up too much time.
Yeah, no, you're fine. We have more than enough time. I'm taking in everything that you've been able to do. And it's a lot. You're still so young. It's a testament to know that you have two options. You can give up or you can keep going.
Yeah. There are times where like I wanted to give up, especially after university, because that's when you're trying to apply for a job. You can't get in because you don't have any experience. And and also too, what's so difficult was the interview. That was difficult for me. Yeah. And I also too, because they're gonna ask you, are you identified as a disability person? So a lot of people don't feel comfortable disclosing that. And I am one of those people. I do not feel comfortable because I feel like that would be the step back of getting a job for me personally. But I know a lot of people who don't feel comfortable. Some people do feel comfortable. Yeah. But me personally, I just don't.
Gotcha. So you when you fill out your applications, you don't put that you have a disability.
No, not until after, because I feel like not until after. It's like, why are you asking that question right at that moment?
Yeah.
People take it personal. I know a lot of people take that question very personal. They're like, why are you asking me this? And
there's a lot of questions in the job application process that aren't necessary. Yeah. When I show up, you'll see that I'm Black. Like, why does that matter? Why does that matter? Right? When I show up for an interview, it's just a lot of that stuff is dated. And I definitely think that we need to revisit and revamp what that process looks like.
Exactly. I feel like they need to change the question a lot. Honestly.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about life coaching.
Oh, love it.
So you decided that, you know what? I figured out how to navigate this journey. Now I'm at a point where I want to help other people navigate their journeys. Start there. What was that like?
It was very interesting being an entrepreneur and also being a deaf person, just because everybody I look around is hearing. So I'm like, am I the only one who's a deaf life coach here? And even when I asked for mentors and coaches, because I did hire probably I would say 2 or 3 coaches and mentors to really get into this industry. And it was very interesting how to be an own business, your own boss, your own CEO. You do what you want to do. There's ideas and learning about different ways to get clients is very interesting, especially how big social media has grown. And I love coaching. I remember I got my first client through my friends. My friends were actually my first clients. And they're very supportive. I love them. And they just want to coach me, Kellina. I want to, I'm like, okay. They were amazing. I realized so much about being a coach versus a therapist, a psychologist. It's 2 very different things, and that was something I learned a lot.
Hey. If you're enjoying this content, do not forget to rate and review. Wherever you're listening to this podcast, be sure to rate and review. It helps us reach more people in more ways. Now, let's get back to some resilience.
And I realized that as a life coach, you can bring in more value into your client than a therapist. I feel like they have a book to follow. If you're a therapist versus a coach, you're just trying to be their A1. You're trying to be their guiding counselor. You're trying to be their everything. And I feel like I love being so involved in my clients versus therapists. you're not so much, right? Because
Mhm.
you're focusing on the diagnose or medication and this
Yeah.
and that. Like you're not focusing on the client as a whole. And that was something I love learning about clients in general, like talking to clients. I love learning about them. And I want them to feel heard. And I feel like a lot of time when people go to therapists, they there there's certain things that are not fully across for them. And it's
Mhm.
like they only cover a few things, but then when they come back, they don't remember. But as a coach, they remember because they see your vibe, your energy, and they're like, oh my God, oh yeah, Kellina told me this. Yeah, I think, yeah. You know, there's so many ways you can go around about, especially as a life coach, and there's so much more opportunities, and that's what I like about it.
There is a lot of opportunity in life coaching. Again, another fulfilling job. Being a deaf entrepreneur, do you think that your deafness has helped you in your business?
Oh yeah, it definitely helped me a lot because everybody is different. And I feel like when people see me as a life coach, as a deaf life coach, they get so excited because they know that I'm going to bring in so much value. And because I've been through something so much worse than had they been through. So they'd be like, Kellina can relate because she went through something worse than I ever had gone through.
Yeah.
And I also too, I come up with so many ways and ideas to communicate. And again, communication was huge issue for me when I was growing up. So that was something a lot of clients loved about me is that I know how to communicate in multiple ways. It's not even fine. People are like, you communicate this way? Okay, cool. So, but yeah, that's what made me super different from a lot of coaches and a lot of clients. Like, you're very different. Like, you've been through so much and you want to pass it on to other people.
I love that. I love it. Your clients sound like they really, really resonate with you, and you help them really, really figure out where it is they want to go.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's wonderful. What does the future hold for Kellina?
That's a good question. Well, I would say the future holds for me is definitely continue writing books. My next book right now is a children's book. I'm writing a children's book too. And I also want to continue writing books, not just my personal story, but also keep finding awareness about the deaf community and books. That's one, two, and also to let's take my company global, help people as much as I can around the globe, not just my side of the country, not Canada, United States, but I also want to help others who are in need.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I also want to create more job opportunity within my company for people who are deaf, who are struggling to look for a job. Um, and also really trying to see if I can change the Hollywood industry reputation for the disability community. I'm hoping maybe I'll get into Hollywood scene. I don't know, but we'll see when the time comes. But definitely get myself out there in the Hollywood industry and just really break that cycle and just really bring in more doors for people who have a disability to act and they need more reputation on TV screen, 100%.
Absolutely. The only show that I can think of just off the top of my head is Switched at Birth.
Oh, my favorite show.
So I watched that show. Oh man, from beginning to end. Like I stopped for a little while, then I picked it back up, and I'm not gonna lie, it's a really good show. When it comes to some of the situations that they faced, how relevant, how true to life was that, in your opinion?
It was very relatable,
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie, and it really honestly I can relate because she was like me. We were deaf. We can speak verbally,
Mm-hmm.
and the whole I would say her life story. Some of them I couldn't relate. Some of them I couldn't because she was fresh up birth, so that part of was not relatable. But I can definitely relate to her parent, 100%, because I'm the only deaf person in my family. My family don't even know what they were doing. They were like, okay, how do we communicate with Kellina? Like, what do we... So I can totally relate with that. like 100%. But honestly, in terms of high school experience, can relate to some of them, not everything. And in terms of the bullying, right? The bullying was something that I can totally relate because I was bullied a lot, not in high school, but a lot in middle school, elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
Kids would pick on me because of my speech, and my speech was different at the time. So I can definitely relate to a lot of the story. And I just wish that there was more shows and movies like that more.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I agree. I agree 110%. I think there needs to be more in general of like movies and shows that shows special needs with just being human, you know, like there is such a, I feel like sometimes there's still a little taboo when it comes to being deaf or hard of hearing or blind or any other, you know, I won't say problem or issue, but anything that would require like an accommodation, you know, it's still so like nobody wants to talk about it. And I think the more we talk about it, the more we learn about it. Like you said, back in the day, we didn't get taught about any of that. So accommodations, whereas it sounds like, yeah, it's important, but it's not that important because me as a not deaf person, I don't understand it. So it doesn't have anything to do with me. When in fact, it does, right? It does, because we are not meant to navigate this world alone. And to be able to step in someone else's shoes, to be able to look through their lenses, to be able to understand what life has been like for them, that takes us, we have to take a step back. If we don't take a step back to reflect, it does a disservice for everyone else involved. I'll never fully understand. I'll never fully get it. But also, I think we have to try, right? We have to put forth the effort. And it's the onus doesn't fall on either party. It should be a collective effort, right?
Yeah, exactly. 100% agree on that. 100%.
Yeah. So, speaking of your family, like what was what was that like? And not to, what was their perspective of growing, of having to, you know, raise a deaf child?
I think that's a good question. I don't even know. I feel like they tried really hard to make me feel normal.
Mm-hmm.
Because no child wants to feel different from the kids. And that was something I see with a lot of my family when I was growing up. They never compared me to another kid. They never done that. They always make sure that I'm always included. You know, and we all always have an open discussion about communication with me. I remember one time, I think we were sitting down on the table. I was like probably like 15. I was young. And I guess that's when, you know, your behavior change when you get older, your roller coaster mood. So I was going through that. And I remember my mom and my grandmother were talking to me, and she used to say, like, listen, you're getting older. We need to learn how to communicate with you better. It's gonna be different. And you know, and we had open discussion, and my family sometimes forget when they're calling me in the house and I can't hear them. And then they forget sometimes, like, oh, I have to call her, and they have to call me, like, oh, my bad, I forgot. We were calling you, but you didn't hear it. I'm like, obviously not. So there's a lot of things they forgot, but it's natural to them. And so even with the doorbell, for example, like the doorbell is very important for me and my family. We make sure that the doorbell is really loud so that I can hear it. And obviously, our bedroom is so far from the door, so they have to figure out how to find a really loud doorbell for me.
Yeah.
And so my family learned a lot by me, to be honest. And especially my mom, she's also in social service career as well. So she's very aware with, accommodation and how to talk to someone who is also deaf. So she's already in that stream. And my grandmother was the expert from day one because my grandma was actually a nurse at the time. So she really knew what she was doing with me when I became deaf. So there was no issue with my grandma. But yeah, sometimes my family just forget that I'm hard of hearing sometimes. Sometimes I need to look at them when they're talking, even when they're cooking and they're like cooking and they're trying to talk to me. I'm like, I need to see your face.
Yeah.
I can't, so little things they sometimes forget. But yeah, my family really did learn a lot when it comes to me, but overall, they make sure that I was comfortable. That's something that I realized with my family. They make sure I was comfortable, make sure I don't feel different.
Yeah, that's very important.
Yeah.
Very important. Goodness gracious. You have such a beautiful roller coaster of a story, and your willingness to be open and talk about it and share it is, I would say, commendable, but I think even that word is too small. I think even that word it doesn't do it justice. Because not only are you a deaf person, but you're Black.
Yeah.
And I feel now, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that adds a whole nother layer to the things that you've had to overcome, the obstacles you had to learn how to navigate.
Oh yeah, 100%. I feel like that's a lot in schools.
Yeah. Goodness.
A lot. I tell people my stories, like I can talk about my story. It's just crazy, and it's like, and I feel like it is an extra layer. You're deaf, you're a woman, and you have a disability. So that was like literally 3 layers for me to really crush that rock and be like, I need to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you're crushing it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're doing it. How can we find you on social media, and how can we support you?
Everybody can support me by buying my book, please. I would love that. And honestly, my book, it's called Every Day I Am Just Deaf. You can find it on Amazon. You can definitely type in Kellina Powell, and my book will be right there for you. Definitely support me on that. And also, if you are interested in, having me to be a coach, definitely reach out to me on my website, which is kellinaempowerment.com. And if you are interested in watching my content, you can definitely reach out to me on Deaf Queen Boss on Instagram.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I'll make sure I add all of that, which is why I asked for your social media. I'll make sure I add all of that in the show notes so we can get to your book, so we can get to your website, and we can click those links and click away.
Yes.
Right. Love it, love it, love it. I have one final question for you.
Okay.
Ready? What does resilience mean to you?
Oh goodness. That's a good question. Resilience, honestly, is being true to yourself. Always be true to yourself. That's all I have to say. I couldn't say more, but I'm gonna be honest. You have to be honest with yourself to be true to yourself. To really know what you want and what your needs are. Because you won't know it if you don't be honest with yourself and be true to yourself.
Mm-hmm. I always say that I guess as human beings, we love to hold up a mirror for everyone else, but we hate to turn that mirror around and to look in it and face what we see, what's that reflection that's coming back to us, because it makes us be honest. We have to be truthful, and we can't lie to the mirror, so being honest, being truthful is resilience in action.
Exactly.
I love it. I love it. Kellina, thank you so much for spending some time with us and sharing your story.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thanks for tuning into this week's episode. If you enjoyed it, be sure to rate and review. And remember, resilience in action will always lead to a greater human experience.